I'm thinking that what the country needs is actually to move away from the subsidy mentalism. What happened in Indonesia right now is Indonesian electricity tariff is the cheapest in the world. Doesn't make sense.
Bapak Fazil Erwin Alfitri, how are you today?
Very good, thank you.
Good, it's nice. Okay, first question is, how did you manage to leverage the company's capital stock of 300,000 US dollar initially funded by Bapak Hilmi Panigoro to 1 billion US dollar in only 3 years time?
No.
What
Okay.
was your fundamental strategy?
$1 billion, maybe not yet, but yes, Pak Hilmi gave me about $300,000, and the company size right now probably about 500 million US dollar, so $500 million over 10 years time. Basically, we use that fund to create projects, and project become created, and then the expansion, and those things basically creating more value to the initial investment that is made by Pak Hilmi. Most importantly is you need to know where you want to be at certain years in your life or in your company that you set up, and that is how you basically prepare a roadmap to get there and put value creation in that way so that the company become big as what I explained.
But did you find challenges in doing so?
Of course, because what I'm given task to do is basically developing a power company, and when you develop a power company, then you need to have a clear set of goal in your mind on what is the power company is all about. In our context, power company is not about power projects. It's about developing a utility mindset, or maybe basically like a small PLM. That is the aim. What I'm aiming to do is basically to create a power company that is based on renewable energy resources, which is a little bit unique compared to any other power player in Indonesia, because every other player in Indonesia basically they develop projects more like power projects, either that coal-fired power projects, gas-fired power project, or geothermal power project, but none of them is actually creating a power company. So when we set up a power company, we have a very clear set of things that we want to do. We don't want to burden too much on the shareholder. So how you do it, in basically you really need to manage between short-term and long-term goal. Let's put it like that.
How influential was academic life with what you are working on now? Tell me in details the process of choosing your career pathway during the time when you were in the university.
Okay, I've asked this question many times, whether I know exactly what I want to be. Okay? To be honest, no. I think none of you at the time, at the years, when you are very young, know exactly what you want to be. So you're basically just following the flow. So most likely, basically, if your father is an engineer, you end up being an engineer yourself. Or if your father is a lawyer, then you end up with a lawyer yourself. So to be honest, at the time, you don't really know on what you want to be. But I know at the time is that actually Indonesia needs a lot of engineers, because there's a lot of activities going on in Indonesia. They need a lot of engineers. So if I want to have a career after my school, right, then I may as well basically get a degree from a major that is basically needed in Indonesia, which is at the time is mechanical engineering. That is how I get my job. And then after school, after get your bachelor degree, your master's degree, is a matter of getting yourself into the workforce, right? Now, I believe that maybe even now for the young generation now, that in their time, the competition is going to be much more fierce compared to what I have experienced in my time. In my time, foreign graduate is not that much, So actually, being graduated from overseas is actually have a lot of value. Actually, companies looking for that. A lot of multinational company, they open up their office in Indonesia. They're looking for people that can speak English, good English. Right now everybody speak English. Even young generation, my kids, and they speak fluent English. So the English specialty that you got overseas is no longer added value. So the competition is actually totally different now. So I would say that you have to really be aware of what you want to be, right? Maybe in the beginning you only basically try to get into the workforce, but after you are in the workforce, then you may be able to start looking, right, on what is it that actually interesting in Indonesia. Now, in my case, I'm the kind of guy that basically not happy just doing a normal stuff. I don't like to work only from 8 to 4 or 9 to 5 kind of job.
What is your say about the current oil prices in Indonesia being raised? What are the political and business implications, especially for Medco?
Okay. Indonesia produce only 800,000 barrels of oil, but the country needs about 1.7 million barrels of oil per day. So they import about 800,000 to 900,000 of oil every day to Indonesia. Those has to be paid in hard currency. Right? There's no subsidy or whatever it is, because pay whatever the market price for oil is. Now, what is happening is the government cannot transfer that pricing to the people. I mean, because then people is gonna, somebody said people are gonna complain. I mean, things that they give it to PLN, they have to give subsidy, right? So like that. So there's is distortion in the economy in terms of the subsidy. I'm thinking that what the country needs is actually to move away from the subsidy mentalism. What happened in Indonesia right now is Indonesia its tariff is the cheapest in the world. Doesn't make sense. We should be moving away from that. Basically, make PLN more profitable. That way, it's going to be more investment in the Indonesian power sector. This government, I think this is what the businesses and also a lot of people wants to see the new government what is going to do in the next 30 days. I hope Pak Jokowi is brave enough to lift out the subsidy, because the subsidy that you're giving to the people now, if you don't have it, you can use the money to build all those hospitals, all those roads, all those bridges, whatever it is that you need to build, which otherwise right now used to subsidize the people. So that's why you still have a pothole in the road. There's a lot of traffic jam. The MRT doesn't get built because of that, because of those wrong subsidy and wrong targeted subsidy. Now, if you really want to give subsidy only to the poor in other means, like for example, like this BGPS, right? This hospital subsidy, that makes sense. I mean, subsidy in the subsidy in the health sector, subsidy in the education maybe, but not to the business itself.
So allocating it into other
Yeah.
sectors. What motivates you into getting up every morning and feeling absolutely positive?
That's deep.
Yeah, that's very deep.
Okay, what motivates me is because from me it's simple that I have a motivation now that I want to grow a company that I set up. Okay, I want to basically I'm a bit disappointed with the Indonesia energy crisis. So I think I would think that maybe there's something that I can do in my small capacity, whatever the capacity that I can control. So that is basically what I'm trying to do. Basically, trying to do something with the most resources that I have, or the least resources that I have. Try to do something big in the context of any Indonesia energy sector. Maybe there's something can be done. There's something can be done if you really focus to do it well, not too much involved in all these political things or all the vested interests among parties. Maybe you will able to make it right and make it big. You experience all that. You experience maybe in the beginning when you graduate from college, you try to work to get into the workforce. Maybe the first thing is to get a job. That's it, to get a job. Then maybe after a few years, then you're thinking, okay, I want to advance my career, or I want to get more money on my current job, something like that. So I've gone through that. Whereby maybe 10, maybe 15, 20 years ago, my whole purpose in life is to get money. Because I thought that money is everything. To be rich is everything. Now, if I look now on what I have now, maybe I should have been more wiser on what I want to do. Because actually, money is not everything. After you learn about it, money is not everything. Because you end up also, having to sacrifice a lot. Yeah, I think that is a very important. People need to understand. To be at my position now, actually, I sacrifice a lot. I sacrificed a lot of my family time, a lot of heartache, right? A lot of disappointment, rejection, and so on, to achieve this goal. Now, would that worth it? I don't know. I think that is depend on everybody. Now, what I'm looking from now on, basically, I probably be looking on something that I can do that is basically going to benefit more people. Yeah, because it's not about money anymore. It's more like about trying to achieve a goal that you set aside long time ago. That's it. And then after that, maybe passing that torch to someone else to carry the company much bigger than what I started. Yes, and then maybe try to have a simple life. At the end of the day, everything is actually circle. You end up trying to do something, achieve something, and then once you achieve, you are trying to go back to wherever you started, which is very simple life, simple approach of things. Not really worry too much, because at this position you worry a lot. You worry a lot about a lot of things. That maybe not worth it. So if you ask me, right now I'm looking for happy life, on a balanced life, a more balanced life.
Okay. Tell us 5 songs that you listen to every day.
Oh my God.
Your all-time favorite.
Well, I'm 80s, right? I like the 80s song. I listen to Brava basically. So that is what I like. I like Heat Wave songs. I like Earth on Fire. Yeah, and then maybe Shakatak, which is Cassiopeia, which is fusion jazz, and sometimes also in classical. For example, if there are times that I want to be in the classical mood, basically.
So does it bring positive vibe for you when you listen to it?
Yeah. I mean, I give you one example. I was in Prague maybe about a month ago. I was in Prague after my marathon in Berlin. I was in Prague, and Prague is a medieval town. It was built in the Middle Ages. And you listen to the one of the Mozart song, which is because Wolfgang Mozart is actually lived in Prague during his time. It's actually different experience. You can visualize the surrounding that you're at the time.
Did you watch the Earth, Wind and Fire concert?
Long time ago in Jakarta, yeah, I was there about 2 years ago when all those somebody back 20 years ago still young, Anagao.
Speaking of going back, if you have a time machine that could take you back to the past to meet the old you, what would you say to him?
I would say to him that don't worry about your future. I think just do it. Just do what you think is right. Because I worry a lot when I was young. I worry a lot about my career, my life, where what I want to be, and so on. But at the end of the day, if I look back, you just be yourself. You know that you are persistent. You are basically kind of guy that have big perseverance. So just follow that. I think you're going to be successful. So because then I would say to young me, don't worry about things. That is what I said to the motivational class that I give to Honolulu, because a lot of anxiety. I think young people has a lot of anxiety, whether they will get jobs, whether the jobs is going to be worth it to bring up families and so on. At the end of the day, you need to understand who you are. You need to understand who you are, and you need to know what you want to be. You need to pace yourself. You need to have even though you have a long-term goal to be a successful person, but you need to have a mini successful event, for example, which is then you need to pace 2-3 years. What is your goal in 2 years? Eventually, it's going to get to where you want to be in the long run in life.
What is your message for the young generation today in an increasingly competitive world?
I think I said this also to my kids. What I told him is actually I don't really push them like my dad pushed me. Someone else can share. Someone else with my age can share that our parents actually very hard on us, very hard, really pushing you, because they live in a time where they're also living uncertainty time. After World War II, he's just still very young. A lot of so the way that they want the children to be is at least better than them. So they push them very hard. Now, if you see the young generation now, is the product of my generation, which is basically the kind of people that already say, okay, what my dad or my parents did to me was not the best interest of me, because I end up being worried, I end up being overstudy sometimes, I end up being, pushing myself too hard. So I did this to my kids. I let them be. Because at the end of the day, I know that if they have the quality, the perseverance, the persistence, the right and wrong, right? they're gonna be okay.